Dr. Rangappa, why is the BJP calling this, just a drama for the cameras? The two leaders, they appear to be smiling, they're hugging. There are thousands of people who are attending that entire event. They have to work together. Rahul Gandhi is there, he is their leader. He's asked them to hug. So what? What's the big deal? It looks like they've made peace. Or do you not believe that?
So this reminds me on one episode in the Mahabarata story, where after the end of the war, the Pandavas go to meet Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra asks for Bhima, and he wants to hug Bhima. So what happens is, Sri Krishna knows that Bhima will be critically injured by the Dhritarashtra hug. So he'll place a iron statue in front of Dhritarashtra, which Dhritarashtra will embrace, and he'll break the statue into pieces. This embrace is very similar to that episode.
Aishwarya, you want to reply to that? He's replied with an analogy from the Mahabharat. And I'm sure, Aishwarya, you're wondering, how many more questions you're probably going to get on this one single topic. But this video is being used now by the BJP to saying this is drama, this is all bonhomie for the cameras. These two men actually have their knives out for each other. There's no bonhomie, there's no peace that has been set here. Yeah, Aishwarya.
Shiv, I have to thank Mr. Rudrappa for talking about the Mahabharata, because if I pull on to that same analogy, let me talk about how the BJP are prima facie the Kauravas who are mired in adharma in my state, and the Congress party is getting ready to rid the state of that sort of evil. And Shiv, this entire speculation, this large spectacle that the BJP wants to make out of what was a phenomenal event. I was personally there at that event. I saw everything that happened.
Yeah.
And if it did not strike fear in the hearts of the BJP, I don't know what else it was. The BJP wants to talk about all these internal issues with us while they have their own MLAs like Mr. Yatnal and other leadership, and talking against the party. You see their leaders also talking down to the Karyakartas. You see an en masse resignation campaign that has happened across the state for the BJP with the Yuva Morcha, and they want to talk about us. Let's make two things very clear. One is that there is collective leadership, and the senior high command has already decided that the Congress party is going to face these elections on that plank, that we will get our numbers and then we will decide who is to be chief minister. And second, this entire spectacle, or rather a lot of this speculation about what is in bitter rivalry and whatnot, I have worked personally with both of them. For Siddaramotsava, I was on the committee myself, and I have seen the manner in which they have also worked. That DK Shivakumar and his brother DK Suresh sir, both were also on the committee, and the amount of effort they also took for the program. The BJP would love to see a bitter internal struggle, but that is very, very far from the truth. And one thing emphatically clear, both the leaders themselves put party above their own personal power. I have seen them over the years, and I am very certain that going forward, and as it already has been, that we're going to work together in order to bring the government.
But Aishwarya, clearly, the fact, I don't want to trivialize this issue. I trust what you're saying, because this is, after all, a party. It's not just two individuals. But since one of them will, perhaps have to be the face, it could be somebody else, but it's largely seen to be, it's going to be one of these two gentlemen who's going to be the chief ministerial face of the party. This video is very telling, isn't it? Because it seems clear that maybe the media coverage, maybe what the BJP has been saying, maybe, what's been happening on social media on this so-called feud has been weighing on Rahul Gandhi's mind, which is the precise reason why you can see him in that video clip asking the two leaders to hug. He's actually telling them, no words are used, but he's gesticulating, which means you guys have to hug because it's important to set the record straight.
I think because internally all of us are already very aware of the fact that there is absolutely no sort of, dissent or any sort of disagreement between them. I have seen them personally hug on several occasions. And I think, Mr. Rahul Gandhi also, who did not come to sit and assuage anybody's fears or sit and reassure anyone. Rather, it was for a political affairs committee meeting of our state. He went to the Murga Mata, he went to the Hubli,
Yeah.
the Gram Yoga Sangha where the flags are originally made. And as part of that, you know, and I think when even look at the manner in which Mr. DK Shivakumar acted during the entire event, he was very magnanimous in his praise and his love and affection for Mr. Siddaramaiah, whether it was his speech or the body language, which I don't think anybody fake. And Mr. Rahul Gandhi, let's just saying, look at how the media is projecting you and I know everything's okay. Just hug. He was anyway, you know, raising his hand to say he is a big leader. And that is something that the BJP is blowing out of proportion as a manner of distracting from the real issues that obviously, you know, heckle and rank their file. And I think that is what has happened today. Shiv, all is extremely well with the Karnataka Congress and our tallest leaders. And we are set. We are battle ready for 2023. While the
Right.
BJP is trying to figure out who their next chief minister for the next 6 months is, or post-election even have a chance in forming government.
I take your point, Aishwarya, and one sincerely hopes that on the other side of this, you know, this viral hug, that there won't be any sideways jibes and comments that can be misinterpreted as fuel, you know, to keep this entire sense that there is a feud between these two leaders burning. Because I think you and I both know that there is a lot of innuendo. One has to admit there is a lot of innuendo. But when senior leaders make comments, they are going to be interpreted in a certain way. And especially since there have been no you know, no explicit denials from either side about the lack of a feud, that has perhaps made it an even bigger issue.